Before we get like started, it's been so long covering Thor that I had to rewatch the last video. I could have reread the comic book, but I rewatched the last video. And let me just tell you something. Young Thor is an asshole. Asshole. Like, I feel for Loki. Now, my name is Doran. This is SCM Comics. We continue our coverage of Immortal Thor, number 7. Now, this is issue 7. We haven't covered this in a very long time, but we did cover it, so link to the playlist will be in the description for you to catch up. Our story starts off with Thor and Loki following the giant Sklemir. Now, he's a giant, very, very big giant, but the fog is so thick that they lost the giant. The only thing they can hear is his echo, so they're following his echo. And I guess Thor closed his eyes so he can hear better. And then Loki told him to open up his eyes. And then they see Utgard, which is huge. Now, I will say this before I get myself in trouble. Loki is telling the story to Thor. Thor lived it, but he forgot about it. And Loki is retelling the story. So maybe Loki is making Thor look like an asshole because, you know, he wants to make him look like an asshole. Maybe Thor didn't act like that. Maybe he did. I'm thinking he did. So, but there is a possibility that Loki could be making some of these parts up. So they get to this huge door, and Loki is like, well, looks like we can't open up this one. Only sensible thing to do is to turn around, go home, and get some grub. And then Thor karate chopped the hell out of Loki. Is like, no, we're moving forward. So no, we're going forward, and we're going to break this door down, because we need to give some kind of report back to the Allfather just in case Utgard is a threat. So then Loki's like, well, if you couldn't wake up the giant, then you can't break down that door. So only way for us to get in is to crawl underneath. And Thor's like, I am Thor Odin's son. I ain't crawling underneath nothing. And as soon as we turn the next page, we see Thor. He's stuck underneath the door. And Loki's like, it's your ass. Like, you need to do more squat thrusts because your ass is too flabby. So he finally gets Thor through, and Thor gets up and is like, whatever, this is Asgard's ass. It's like Captain America saying this is America's ass. So Thor's still talking, and Loki's just staring at this thing. Finally, Thor looks up, and he sees the king of Utgard, which he refers to himself as Utgard-Loki. So he gets right to it. He's like, because you're trespassing on Utgard, if you don't pass a series of trials, I will destroy Asgard, Jotunheim, because I believe he knows that Loki's a frost giant, and Midgard. So Thor's like, look, I am the son of Odin. Why should I have to participate in any kind of trials? All of a sudden Loki goes, eating contest. So then Thor looks at him, and Loki's like, what? We gotta do this anyway, so I might as well go ahead and fill my belly. Besides, if you do a trial, maybe you should make it a drinking contest. And Thor slaps the bejesus out of him. Asshole. So all of a sudden this feast appears, and Loki wastes no time. He gets right to eating, and then Thor has like this horn that he has to drink out of. So all of a sudden this dude appears at the other end of the table, and Utgard-Loki said this dude's name is Loki. And Thor, every time he drinks out of the horn, just keeps spitting out because he can't like stomach it. He can't even swallow it. And there's a reason for that. We're going to find out here in the end. So Loki feels extremely confident that he's going to beat this guy. When all of a sudden, this dude starts eating everything, table and all. So, yeah, Loki lost. And Thor is to the point to where he's throwing up so much that he's on the ground. And then Utgard-Loki just takes the horn and is like, looks like you lost too. So now we cut to Daria Agger, who is the demon, the Minotaur in charge of Roxxon. I think I got all my ducks in a row there. The Enchantress and the Executioner. And they're reading the story that Loki's telling, but they're reading in a comic form. And I still don't really understand what's going on here, but I'm pretty sure we'll find out. So then we cut to Loki and Thor in present time. And Thor's like, didn't we also have to do like a foot race? So then we cut back to Loki and Thor in the past, and Loki's stretching, and he's like, this is hilarious, brother. They want to challenge me to a race when I have on the 7 league boots on, and they're letting me use them? It's like, this is going to be over fast. All of a sudden, this dude walks up. He has no shoes on. He's like, hi, my name is Lucky. Loki said the race was over with before he could even twitch. Like, I want to see how fast this dude is against Quicksilver. So then Utgard-Loki is like, all right, Thor, you can still win this. You just got to wrestle the ancient nurse, Ellie. Ellie is whooping Thor's ass. Got him in an armbar and he can't do nothing about it. So Utgard-Loki's like, Thor, all I gotta do is give up. And Thor's like, I'll never give up. I ain't never giving up. So then Utgard-Loki tells Ellie to leave Thor alone, quit whooping his ass. And then he's like, you got one last test. All I need you to do is lift that cat. So he goes to lift the cat. All of a sudden the cat starts to transform and he hisses instead of meows. And he gets bigger and longer and starts wrapping around Thor. So then Loki starts breaking it down. Utgard-Loki was Sklimir in disguise. The reason why Thor couldn't open up the bag in the past issue is because that was a thread from Eternity's own fate. The reason why Loki lost the eating contest is because he was actually going up against fire itself, which is all-consuming and all-devouring. The foot race that Loki lost was actually against his own thoughts, which is ahead of his actions. The horn was filled with seawater that was coming directly from the sea, so obviously even gods can't drink seawater. And Thor was getting his butt whipped by Mistress Death. I'm gonna say this is Mistress Death because that's who it is in Marvel Comics, but they said Death itself is supposed to be Mistress Death. And the cat that Thor picked up is actually the Midgard serpent. And if you know anything about Thor lore, it kind of never goes well with the Midgard serpent, even though I'm thinking Marvel Comics, he did beat the Midgard serpent. Midgard serpent wraps around the world. So yeah, picking up the Midgard serpent is like picking up the world. So then all of a sudden, the Midgard serpent just disappears. And then all the smoke clears. And Utgard-Loki's like, at a later date, we're going to finish this. And then Loki's like, the end. And Thor's like, so what's that, huh? That's the end? Well, this is what troubles me. We know about Utgard-Loki. We know about Tyrannos, which is the Utgard-Thor. I wonder if there's a Utgard-Odin. And on the last page, we either are seeing Utgard-Odin or we're seeing the original Odin. I don't know which one yet, but it's one of them.